Good morning everybody and welcome to today's Cessna Citation flight from Biggin Hill in just north-south of London City Airport. I'm going to be flying all the way over to Marseille in France. If you're wondering why I'm doing this stream early today on a Wednesday, expecting a delivery, so I might have to step away temporarily at some point, but expecting a delivery, so I'll resume normal time, I think, on Friday, but today it's a little bit earlier. Get there in into the south of France, hopefully by 11:30 at the absolute latest. We're going to start up now. We've got sim brief and stuff, so we're going to hop in. One thing you'll notice, we're not going in the classic style gold, red and black. We're going in the blue, white and black livery today. It looks very, very nice. And this is a suitable airport, Biggin Hill. As you can see around, it's quite big. It has a main airport, ILS system, and it's got a terminal, etc. So let's get started. So you want batteries on, avionics and ICAS, of course. You can feel free to turn the standby power off and get the APU running. We'll do a few checks after the APU started. Your damper. altitude running successfully. Stick the packs on, run it, make it nice and cool. Cruising altitude today is 280. 32,000 my mistake. Nice high cruise. Cut packs on, temperature's about 16 degrees. About 16 I think. Navigation lights on. Seatbelt signs. We're going to stick the auxiliary pump on to charge up those hydraulics, pressurise them. Flight plan, so we can load our flight plan in. There it is. We'll check the departure. We don't have a typical departure. It's giving us lid 2. There it is. And the initial altitude and speed restraints, it seems like we do have a 185 restraint, which is quite slow. In the Citation 10, and it's saying 4,000 there. I don't know how long that will continue. It's continuing to Detling. And then we want the arrival. The arrival is going to be a Lurg 1 Delta arrival, so we got that into runway 31 right, so it's managed to find it. We'll just select. You won't bother selecting one, we'll leave it as it is. Navigation, flight plan, everything's looking pretty good on there. Form initialization. So I'm going to set the initial speed for 200. On the climb. $7,000 feet is usually transition altitude for this area. Let's check the radios. I'm on VATSIM, so nobody in the area. We've only got London Heathrow Tower and 80s on the line at the moment, but it is pretty early still, so we're going to go and keep our radio on Unicom 122.8. 320 for the cruise. Five degrees of flaps. I'm not bothering with whatever SimBrief recommends. I'll just go with 5 on this one. I'm going to pull up the charts, aka the flight plan for you, so you can see it. You gotta remember where it is. It's so outboard and then FMS plans. You can bring it up like that. So we just want to check the fuel and things. Got 8 packs on board. We need to change that on the iOS. Okay, so we got a bit of traffic there at Heathrow, but there's a tower on, which is good. No one in the actual area to control us, which is also a little bit of relief. Anyway, we need fuel, so let's check. Total fuel 2758. We've nearly got that in the tanks already. Just add a little bit more into the centre there. Go slightly over. We're going to check the weight and balance. So 8 people on board. There's the route we're going to be flying. And I've gone past it. My mistake. There's the weight. 700 on payload and 100 on cargo. Can never get it accurately unless you type it. When you type it, it doesn't tend to work. 8 packs, so 2 members of crew, 4 people in the back.
Easy 807 will taxi to runway 26 left via Papa, Alpha November.
And then 2 in the back.
Alpha, Hollywood 1, Alpha 1, runway 26 left, gateway traffic.
Estimating the weights there. A bit light for the pilots. Strangely, they only got 100. Assuming that's 100, it's been rounded down or up. So that's we want the airport information with the QNH. It did just tell it was on that, but I'm going to look on the official flight plan. It always recommends 15 degrees of flaps, but I always use 5, or most of the time. So there's the QNH 1026, so it does in fact match the game. That is the X-Plane 12 QNH 026, both sides. there, VNav and LNav activated. Let's double check that flight plan altitude. There's nothing there at the beginning, and then it says 185, 4,000, so I'm just going to go ahead and climb straight up to 32,000. And we will follow the recommendations, so it's coming up with V-speed. We did just calculate V-speeds. V-speed's there. Let's double check something else. Yeah, V-speed's not been programmed in. We did just... Let's do it one more time. Let's see if it will give us the information. Okay, now it's popped up. It's almost like you got to select that page to see the speeds yourself, so you can put it in, so it'll appear in the computer. Select FMS. It's about 138 safe climb at speed. We're just going to go ahead and get our engine started because there's no ATC available. We want them on. Computer heats, windshield air. See, it's relatively warm in the cockpit and the cabin still. The cockpit is always quite warm. It's 21 degrees. You want packs on high. We want to stay nice and cool. Transfer control on. Fuel boosts. I'll put ignition on both. You don't have to. You can take your time. We didn't do a stall test, so let's get that done now. Let's do a quick check of the enunciation and things. That's overspeed. There's angle of attack, the stall test and enunciation. Everything is illuminated, which is what we need. Never seen this light up.
Wind shear, wind shear, wind shear.
Never seen that. I've seen below glide slope light, but not GPWS flat norm. Ground proximity warning system is never really activated in this aircraft. And if it has given me a ground warning, it won't light up like that. Anyway, throttle's unlocked. Let's go for a successful engine start, number 1. Get the engine door shut, so that's why it's so loud. There we go. Normal ignition, let's get number 2 started. In fact, let's take the windshield heat on, we want to melt off any overnight condensation.
807, I will line up runway 26 left. As for my intentions, I'll depart 26 left by the land on 6 mark. Departure up to 4,000 feet initially. Gather traffic.
We're actually departing runway 03 today from Biggin Hill. So as I said, we're just south of London City. This is London City up here. Not very far at all. London Heathrow is very busy though for a 10 o'clock on a Wednesday morning. Area control would be ideal, but we're going to depart straight out. So what do we need to do now? We need to get the generators on to get the APU turned off. Okay, APU's coming off. Beacon lights were on the entire time. Tail lights, navigation lights, taxi lights. Okay. I'm not going to give them a call out for taxiing like I did last time. I just give them a call for takeoff and departure. And what I'm going to do is taxi down Juliet, Foxtrot, hold short to runway 3. Let's get flaps on. Double check all the systems are working. I'll leave fuel boost on for now because it's a short taxi to the runway. So it says no takeoff because we've not done the trim yet. And return throttles up slightly. Turn the ground idle off. Alright, let's get going. Relatively quick.
Aero traffic, EG807, airborne at 1,000 feet, Gatwick.
Call outs from that gentleman, not what we'd call correct phraseology. But no matter. He's doing his best. Having a good time on a Monday. Wednesday morning. Yeah, here's Holly Point Juliet 1. And then I assume we should have gone on to, like I say, we should have gone Foxtrot maybe there, hold short. I'm going to hold short here. I'm going to get our departure announcement in a second. So you want strobes on. Landing lights on. Excuse me. Very, very impolite to burp like that on stream. Just checking for some other things. We don't really need to check. Very low approach to that Biggin hill. I don't think the scenery is accurate. It's not been accurate and explained for the majority of the time. I mean, we've got infrastructure from the runway there going onto the highway or the motorway or the road or whatever you want to call that. So yeah, and also the plane coming down to land would no doubt hit those houses that close to the runway. Biggin Hill traffic, Charlie 22 Bravo Echo departing runway 03. Okay, let's go now. We're giving our announcement. We've done what we need to do. So it's clear on the right, it's clear on the left, double read back there. And go to the runway threshold and then I'm going to depart to the south. First set.
Gatwick traffic, EG807 will continue climb to 5,000 feet via 6, landlord 6 Mike, Gatwick.
V1, rotate.
10.
Good traffic is
There's a brake line, gear.
check please.
There was that turn to the right, with not taking in time, but it was very, very close to the runway to be fair. We're going to continue to climb, but we're going to continue to maintain a certain amount of speed. So I think 4,000 feet was a good altitude initially. We'll maintain about 200 for now. Just double check our flight plan. Straight to this flag's waypoint, so that's decent. Okay, so I've set 32,000, but we're following the rules of the departure. It seems to be a 4,000 feet altitude limit. Saying 185 knots, so not very fast at all. We're already exceeding that. I don't think we can really slow down to 185 realistically. Try it now, but it's not going to work. Let's double check where we are on the map. Very smooth takeoff though, no hinges on that. We didn't crash, we didn't go all over the place. Let's check where lid is. There's the Detling, and then we're on lid. I think after Detling, there's lid. After lid, I think we're free to climb at unlimited speeds. There's a Detling DME, very famous. And then we'll take this one down to lid. Well, you can tune the tune that in. Let's tune that in to nav 1 so you can see it on the VOR indication. Autopilot on.
Delta traffic easy at 07 disconnected.
There it is. He seems to disconnecting. I think he knew his radiology was a bit off. I think somebody called him out for it, so I don't know why he bothered coming on. He just seemed to depart and then disconnect from Gatwick. Absolutely bizarre. Anyway, we just checked ours. There's Detling, and then there's lid down there for a run. We've just programmed that in, and after lid we're free to go up to 32,000 feet. Maintain 200 knots. I think we did that when we departed London City as well, so speed and altitude restraints in the area are really something else. Anyway, engine sync, turbine sync on, landing lights off. Crank those fuel boosts off now as well. And cabin packs on normal. Look at that departure, so smooth. We did take that turn a bit late, but that's quite an early turn still. Departing turn there to the south. Lid to departure. There's obviously another lid waypoint somewhere. Really cool though that they have the DME so we can mark them and put them in the aircraft frequencies. 114.05. There's one down there, so Seaford. All very well known. Mayfield, of course. These are well known for the London pilots, that is. And we're going to leave it on IFR today and let you see the chart format. Okay, let's prepare for the climb. So 32,000. And when we do, see, one of the things about the X-plane Citation that I wish you could change would be the performance of the climb. So because we're set 200 as the speed of the climb, we can't change that now to say 270. Can't change it. Once you've passed that and you put it in, it's you need to get rid of the whole flight plan in order to enter a new speed. The only way to change it would be here on speed and change it to 270 or maybe even 250. Just a reminder, I will have to step away from the cockpit for a moment, some point between now and probably by midday, noon. It'll only be brief, but just a quick warning. I will step. In fact, I'm gonna go silent soon because there's no ATC. Right, flight level change. We're clear to climb at this point. It's not giving us an altitude restraint in the FMC. It just says 200 and then 32,000 by lid. I'm gonna hit a target speed, probably 250. 240 is coming up with, but we'll try for 250. Let's put, in fact, let's do VNAV, that's a bit easier. VNAV, and we'll let the VNAV speed take over. Okay, engine anti-ice is coming on. It's quite warm as it is. You can see in here the pitot tubes and things about 18 degrees. Fuel tanks 23 Celsius. The engine itself 55. So keeping it nice and warm in preparation for the minus 30 odd weather. There's no low fronts. Can't see any clouds. There's no NEXRAD indications either. I don't think the weather radar on this one works properly. Seen some issues in the past with I've seen some weather indications on this in the past, but nothing substantial. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to begin our descent. We're going to please ask you to return to your seats. We're approaching the south of France, Marseille. Weather's looking nice outside, nice and warm. You can just about see coast in the distance, I hope. Or maybe not at this distance, but it's there. As you can see, we're nearly supposed to begin our top of descent, but we're going to begin it when we go past Lurga, which is the next waypoint, and we descend down. By the looks of it, all the way down to 5,000 feet. So yeah, let's crank the seatbelt signs on. I hope you can all hear me very clearly. Currently tuned into the Unicom still, so there's no controllers online. And let me adjust this. Speed we managed to maintain under 300 for the majority of the time. Wrong button. There we go, nice slow descent. We're doing it slightly early. Top descent's not meant to be until Kura. Strange though, it says Kura, but there was a descent at Lurga, so top of descent it should be now. Should be, and then we'll slow descent down. 31 right is the destination runway. A bit clearer on the VFR. We're not actually close to the coast, but we are close. It's just off the corner. In terms of fuel, we did pretty well. Hardly burned any off. I think we burned like less. We got left like 3,400. Sorry, 3,140. It's not bad. Flight time so far has been pretty good. We took half an hour for departure. Got out up into the air within the first 30 minutes. It's only been 1 hour 20, so we should be there in the next 20 minutes. Check the aviation tablet. Check the map. It's a little bit easy to see where we are on this one. It's nice and detailed. So there we are. We're just going off our rank. Mares. And we're flying all the way down. There's Montpellier and there's Marseille. Toulon's right next door, so we're quite close. We'll have to do a U-turn before we land, so there's that turn, and then we'll come back round runway 31. I think it's going to be a... So it's taking us to Dolive, and then Dolive LFML is our airport code, so it's just there. 31 right, so we're probably going to have to do a U-turn. A manual U-turn. I haven't programmed any specific approach yet. Let's try arrival. Let's try and see if we change that approach. Maybe it's worth putting an ILS in, but I don't know what ILS it would be at this time. There's Yankee Zulu for the ILS or RNAV. Free one right. Obviously, there's only one free one right option there. That's very odd actually, there's only one for free one right, but 13 left. Free one right's arrival runway, that's Dolive. I think that's probably best. Dolive is the waypoint, well it'll end, yeah there it is, so let's preview that. Dolive down Venta. So that should take us all the way into the airport. That gives us the missed approach as well, so let's activate that. Yeah, so there's a lot of convolution at the end, but that should help. And all these diamonds are over other aeroplanes in the vicinity. Nothing to worry about yet. We've got the ILS frequency, 115.4. Of course, there's Marseille here, Monaco to the right, and these. It's the coastline. You could probably drive from Marseille to Monaco in a day if you really wanted to. Not long at all. QNH 1020. Won't change it yet till we're below 10,000 feet. 020 on both sides. Got the transponder on, the anti-ice remain on until we're below 10, probably below 15,000 feet you would expect. So we're going to go to, let's just double check that you go around heights, saying 4,000 feet. I'm going to go down to an initial altitude of 5,000 and then we'll descend down to 2,000 for the ILS. Not ILS, but for the final. Something going on with the mountains, like graphical issue. Looks like it's almost like the weather and the mountains aren't spawning. Anyway, we need to go back to the south. We're going slightly east, sorry. Southerly turn now. We take that all the way to the coast. Alright, I return. Just had to pick up a package. Which, thankfully that's expected. That's the reason for the early stream today, and that's the only reason. Although occasionally I might do an early one if there's that time around midday. So we're approaching Marseille. We're expecting 3-1 right. We don't particularly have any special arrival. We just decided to program in. Let's just show you again what the arrival is. So we've programmed in the ILS Zulu. The plane is bouncing because we're going too fast. So you need to, I'm just going to idle the engines. We're just going to slow down. So it's saying 270. Well, Marseille's not that far at all. We need to be down to about 2,000 feet. So they're saying 5,000 at Italy. It looks like a long way, and it seems to be one of those snake pattern approaches again, which I'm not very keen on, to be honest. 3-1 right. I'm just going to turn the heading knob. 3-1 right. All the way around. There we go. Won't bother with the co-pilots, but anti-ice can come off at this point. It is -5 still, but the engine and things like really warm. So 8 degrees Celsius, and the engine is 43 degrees. So we don't have to worry about ice buildup. It's mostly leading edges and the flaps that you have to worry about, but we do have. Well, we have stabilizer, and the stabilizer's at the rear, and it's part of the rudder and things, and then the elevator, of course. Slats, there's no flap the ice, but the slats will be leading edge devices, which will probably, you know, prevent the ice from building up in the cracks of the flaps. Anyway, depressurization will begin shortly, so let's do a cabin dump. So initially the pressure does build up quite a lot. I've noticed if you do it above 10,000 feet, so that we've got too much pressure now internally. I was hoping it might drop down relatively quickly. So it just built up 13,000, equalising that pressure between the inside and the outside. So that means it's probably doing it too much at this point, and then it'll drop down to about 2,000 feet per minute. So that's why you should do it below 10,000 feet, because it prevents that from happening. LFML, it's Marseille. Okay, let's double check the approach. Well, we know that runway 31 is that way. So now it's gone yellow. It was in a master warning, but now it's master caution. And and as you can see it's dropping down by about 2,000 feet per minute. Another thing you can do is just turn the pressure, the pack bleed select to low pressure as well, and that will help. Yeah, so runway's facing obviously 3-1, you can see it here, that's where the blue square thing is. We're going up, round and then down, so not the worst approach I've ever done. Here it is, you can actually see it as well, this is cool. So there's the runway, the airport. We're going to be taking 3-1 right, then the long runway. It's just because the runways are not aligned that it's shaped like that. Of course, we've got a big lake. Let's say what it is on the map. There's like a big lake here where all the rich people go. We've even got an NDB there for general aviation, but yeah, big yachts. I'm not sure how those yachts got there. There's no other rivers connecting that piece, unless they're supposed to flow through here somewhere. But yeah, they can't get out otherwise. And then of course, the sea down there. We have programmed the MRN DME. I am liking the area, Marseille, Nice and Monaco. But yeah, that piece of land there, that piece of the stretch of water, I can't see a boat. Because there's no break there to get a boat through, unless they're bridges. So there's a bridge there, but I don't know about this bit. And then a very short stretch to get out, but I suppose if you got the money you don't need to take it anywhere, just keep it in that small pot of water. Alright, 9,000 feet. Warning lights on. Super signs were on the whole time. Descent. Sundown's about 240. Slats deployed. Pizza heats and window heats off. Leave the windshield air on. Marseille traffic, good day. This is Charlie 22 Bravo Echo descending through 8,000 feet for runway 0 at 3-1 right. Need to descend all the way down now, 2,000. Reduce that speed, probably say 190 in a sec. Yeah, 230 knots, I'm going to put 5 flaps. And there it is, there's Marseille, just about spawning in. I suppose, is it really there if you're not here to observe it? Interesting. It's certainly not the case on this plane. Even when I'm here, you can't even see it in front of you. Anyway, you have to zoom in a little bit to see it, and it's not covering the entirety of the land either. So yeah, might do that. I think it'd be cool if they had better scenery. I know Nice has custom scenery on X-Plane. It's not payware either, it's included with the base game. So we did that U-turn to the runway. Can't see it, but it's back there with its turn. So it's working with half bank. It didn't on departure at one point, but it's managed to work now, which is absolutely suitable for what we need to do. Half bank is coming off. Can't do that turn in time. Not far at all. We are going to try the ILS. Not been programmed on the flight plan. It wasn't ever given to us, but we're doing the ILS. When we get to final, we're going to drop down another notch of flaps. When we get to about CF31 right, and then by final we'll have gear down. Doesn't give you accurate distances is another thing that I've noticed. It's saying 3 degrees. Usually we get distance there between each. Oh yeah, there's a 0.4 there, but that's about it. Then 3.2, 0.8, 1.9. So from final to 1.9 on final and 4.4 for the runway. Bearing in mind it's 4,000 feet go around height. Slowing down to 185. feet go around height selected. Turning final. Engine sync coming off in case we have an incident like an engine failure. We don't want the engines to sync to the worst engine, of course, or the worst turbine. Another notch of flaps, slowing down to probably about 140 now, final speed for landing. Let's just double check our performance. 116, we'll probably be 125. The approach, of course. Marseille traffic, Charlie 22 Bravo Echo is on final, 31 right. Okay, we came in about a little bit higher than 2,000. But it's saying we're too high for the glide slope to intercept. Gear down. Full flaps. You notice I won't make too much adjustment on the thrusts. I will now because when it's slowing down, but in general, should usually pitch for the speed. Get approach switch on so we can see where it's telling us to fly. Hopefully we programmed it incorrectly. So 135, I think it's safe to go down to 120. Pitching up just to reduce that speed. We're going to have one other plane at the airport who's on vaccine. Minimal thrust on this approach.
400. 300. 200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Let's touch down. Lower nose gently. Reverse thrusters. Spoilers. $60 knots. Disengage reversers. Take the high speed exit. Okay, reverses stowed. And applying brakes. So we clear the runway. Clear the runway means getting past the threshold point. There's a nice holding point here we can stop at. Or we can continue a little bit further inward. Didn't set the pressure setting, that's alright. We're going to do taxi lights. Strobes off. Flaps and spoilers retracted. There's general, looks like general aviation on the left. We don't want general though, we need a proper corporate jet parking. I'm sure we can park there though. We can keep going down Lima, Bravo, maybe park down where those sort of propeller aircraft are. They're a little bit bigger. In fact, I'm gonna go to the. I want to go to a jetway or a terminal or something. I feel like the Citation doesn't deserve to park next to us Skyhawk. Let's take the next right, and then we're gonna park over there somewhere. We'll find it. Marseille traffic, Charlie 22 Bravo Echo, clear runway 31 right, taxi into terminal, parking. Another option is to simply park it here, which is, yeah, enough changing my mind. Let's park at 54. There we go. Let's get the AP one. Isolation is going to be coming open. Cabin in dumped successfully. AP relay engaged. Text lights are off. Seatbelt signs can stay on until the engines are disengaged from the starters. Maximum bleed air. So if you turn the packs off, the temperature rises. Low pressure on the engines for the moment. Ooh. Engine cut off, beacons, seatbelt signs off. We'll leave the nav lights on. Ignition off. All the fuel controls are off. Generators, standby power, emergency light, exit lights. Sorry, the exit lights on so people can see where they're going. It's bright. It's daytime. You don't need them. Windshield air stays on. So yeah, this is the state I leave the aircraft in most of the time when I leave it, and then it's ready to hop back in for another flight. You can always turn it off completely. You can always turn, the avionics off. You don't really need the avionics. You just need the ICAS, which is the engine monitoring system here on the center console. You don't really need any other options. The avionics is mostly for navigation and aircraft data. It's a little bit boring. If you want me to go on about it or talk about it in another video, I'm happy to do that on another stream. Your damper could come off. Let's get the door open. Yeah, so we're parked there in Marseille. It's been a good flight from London, Biggin Hill. An airport I will fly from in the future, and an airport that I hope you enjoyed deploying from. It is mostly used by private jets and private aircraft in general, and it's very popular with things like these small jets like a Learjet, for example, because it's got the main last landing system. It's used by thousands of pilots a year. So, and they have an air show every year in August, I think, the Biggin Hill Air Show. So yeah, you might want to check that out. It's been great to see you early Wednesday. I'll see you on Friday for the next flight. Take care.